عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. شهر مبارك، كل عام وانتم بخير، وشكرا على الحضور.
كل عام وانت بخير يا دكتور يحيى.
كيف أموركم؟
خير الحمد لله يا دكتور.
الله يسلمك. طيب, let's get started. This webinar will be live streamed on YouTube, and so basically the video will be saved on our YouTube channel. I will share the link with you at the end of the webinar so that you can put it in your WhatsApp group. Okay. طيب. The plan is that I'm going to speak for about, let's say, 20 minutes. And then the remaining time we'll leave it for your questions and concerns. And let's see how it goes. طيب. So we are offering a new concentration on cloud computing next year. The concentration has been officially approved by the KFUPM administration. And this is why we want to offer it next year. The title of the concentration is Cloud Computing, and it will be offered by the Department of Computer Engineering. This is the program information and the team members who worked on the design of the concentration. There are about 16 members. We have Dr. Abdulaziz Tabbakh and Dr. Muhammad Flimban from the Department of Computer Engineering. And we have Dr. Muhammad Mahfoud al-Rahman or Dr. Fakhri Khan from the Information and Computer Science Department. And also we have Dr. Muhammad al-Shaib, Dr. Sajjad Mahmoud from Software Engineering, and myself from the Computer Engineering Department and also the coordinator. So clearly you can tell that we have a truly multidisciplinary team who worked on the design of this CX. This is also in addition to our industry partners that I'm going to mention at the end. So we had 3 industry partners who also helped us with the design and development of the cloud this cloud concentration. The host department is Computer Engineering, which is under the College of Computing and Mathematics, and we have the Department of Information and Computer Science as our partner in this concentration. Okay. Now, this is just like an outlook into the future. With cloud computing, we think the future looks good. There will be many opportunities. The cloud is going to create many jobs and many business opportunities in the market. So we think that this is the right time to introduce such a concentration. These are some facts and predictions from some leading consultancy companies in the market. Gartner, it's a leading consultancy in the IT sector. And these are some facts as well as prediction and forecast of the future. So according to Gartner, more than half of enterprise IT spending in key market segments will shift to the cloud by 2025. Now, what does that mean? Right now, the situation is as follows. The companies, they run their own infrastructure, their own IT infrastructure, and they have their own software in-house, running in-house. This is why you can find companies with their own data center, with their own IT departments, okay? However, the future will be to move this infrastructure and this software to move it to the cloud. In fact, this is also what is happening right now in the Saudi market. If you have heard about Oracle, they have a new data center in Jeddah, okay? And now companies are moving their software and infrastructure to the Oracle data center in Jeddah. Now, with such a data center, you need people to operate the data center. You need people to help these companies to decide how to move their infrastructure to the cloud. And also you need people to develop software that runs on this infrastructure, okay? Also, we expect other companies to establish their own data centers. For example, Aramco, they have a joint venture with Google. They are going to soon launch a data center in Bigeg. Okay, STC, they have their own ventures, and they have their own also public cloud. And all the mega projects, I will talk about this more on one of the slides, that they have already decided to embrace the cloud. Okay, is to have the cloud as a core component of their infrastructure. اوكي يعني الكلاود تكون جزء مهم من البنيه التحتيه، سواء كانت مدينه ذكيه، سواء كان مصنع، سواء كان مشروع بزنس، لابد من وجود الكلاود. طيب. Second statement says global end user spending on public cloud services expected to exceed 480 billion in 2022. So this is basically the end user that are using the cloud. Things like Dropbox, things like Google Drive, Google Docs, and so on and so forth. Okay, even the end user, the normal people, are moving to the cloud. Global cloud revenue will total to about 474 billion in 2022, up from 408 billion in 2021. So clearly, the revenue, the money that will be generated by the businesses that are using the cloud or structured around the cloud it's already in the range of billions, and it is expected even to increase more. And the Saudi market is part of the global market. يعني احنا جزء من السوق العالم الكبير وهنتأثر به طبيعيا. طبعا هذا بالإضافة للمشاريع اللي قاعدة تحصل عندنا. فهذه كلها هتأثر في عملية يعني revenue that will be generated from the cloud. طيب. Now, what do influential people think about the cloud? These are some interesting quotes from influential people. For example, the first quote is from Milan Govikar. He's a distinguished vice president at Gartner. He says something very interesting. There is no business strategy without a cloud strategy. Now, this is something interesting and something we think that we at KFUPM, we can relate, because you are all familiar with the transformation that happened inside KFUPM. Now we have digital foundation courses across all the academic program. Also, we have the business course, which is about entrepreneurship, that will be taken by all of our KFUPM students. Okay, so according to this quote, any business strategy, in order for this business idea to succeed, okay, there must be a cloud strategy that goes hand in hand with that business strategy. Okay, let me give you an example. Okay, there is this interesting story about Brad Jefferson. He is the COO of a company called Animoto. If you have used Animoto, please raise your hand. If you know Animoto, it's an application for video. If you know Animoto, okay. So Animoto is, and by the way, this guy with his high school friends, they came up with the idea of Facebook before the idea of Facebook that we know right now. So they basically they came up with the idea 6 years before official Facebook was launched, but they did not really pursue the idea. Okay, so they learned the lesson here. And when they came up with this idea, they had to make a decision. Okay, they said that, look, okay, we want to develop a video application, and we have 3 platforms to run our application on. Okay, we can develop the video application and run it on the desktop. Okay, you all know how to develop for the desktop. This is what you learn in your introductory programming courses, ICS 104, ICS 108. Or we can develop the application and run it on the mobile application. Okay, you run it on the mobile phone. Or at that time, they made like a decision, okay, no, we will run it on the cloud. We will be future proof. We are not going to repeat the same mistake that we had with our idea that resembled Facebook. Okay, so from day one, they decided to write their software and run it on the cloud. This is even before AWS. before Amazon Web Services were introduced, they were running their application in the cloud. Okay, let me show you a picture of Brad while he was assembling his data center, the cloud. Okay, this is a picture of him working, assembling the server himself. Okay, so they had to build their own infrastructure. Okay, and this is an interesting comment that says, please work hard because we are investing a lot in our infrastructure. This is even before the invention of Amazon Web Services. So they made a decision to, no, we will develop for the cloud because we think the future is the cloud. Okay, and basically he said that, it's a famous quote, cloud computing is really a no-brainer for any startup because it allows you to test your business plan very quickly. Now, this is very important. You test your business idea very quickly for little money. Okay, those who are familiar with entrepreneurship, riyadat al-a'mal, they know that sometimes the real challenge is how to test the idea, okay, before you launch it. Okay, how to test if there is really a market for your idea or not. You have to come up with a prototype, and then you deploy this prototype, and this prototype has to reach the consumer. Okay, and the platform will give the cloud will give you the platform to do all these things. Okay, to prototype the application, and it will enable you to reach to the consumer very quickly. Okay, so he said that every startup should use the cloud computing in its plan. Okay, so when you go to the business course, Business 200 that you will take, okay, you must, in addition to the business plan that you're going to develop, you must develop a cloud strategy that goes with that plan that will enable you to prototype your idea and deliver it to the end user for testing. Now, this is a news item that was published in March 2020. This is about, I think about 5 years, 6 years after the official launch of Animoto. Okay, so it says Animoto hits 30 million in revenue. You won't believe how much revenue they can add monthly. Now, this is an interesting thing. Okay, the first part is okay. They are making a lot of money, but look at the second part here. You won't believe how much revenue they can add monthly. Now, this was made possible because of the cloud, because the cloud will give them infinite resources, okay, and they can just keep expanding. Okay, they can keep accommodating new customers. Okay, and this is why they can keep making revenue every month. This is just because of the cloud. Okay, so this is an interesting example of a cloud-based product that was very successful. In fact, Animoto later on was invited by Jeff Bezos to be one of the first few companies to launch their services on AWS. You can learn more about the story of Brad and his company from my Twitter account. This is the link. Okay, I can post it at the end of my talk into the chat. Okay, right. We have also another interesting story from the local market, from Saudi Arabia. There is a company called Lycidia, which is also one of our industry partner. In fact, this is Dr. Zuhair Khayyat. He is who graduated from the computer engineering department at KFUPM. So they made a decision also to build their product on the cloud from day one. Okay, because they knew that they cannot succeed without the cloud. Okay, so they developed a product that is cloud-based company, and it was very successful. In fact, just in January 2022, they managed to secure an investment of about $6 million. $6 million. Okay, Dr. Zuhair is on the committee that oversaw the design of the new concentration program. So we learned a lot from him. Okay, so how did we develop the concentration? What is the methodology? Okay, what are the rules, or what was our approach to developing the concentration? Because some students, they think that, okay, this is how we develop concentration at KFUPM. We just go get some books. Okay, you look at the table of content, you pick the topics, okay, and then you just add them to the courses. No, we did not do that. Okay. When we designed the cloud computing concentration, we followed what we call a blank canvas approach. We started from a blank canvas, okay? And basically we approach our industry partner, and then also we looked into the literature, and also we did the survey with our alumni, okay? الطلاب الخريجين. So basically we followed what we call bottom-up approach when we designed the concentration, okay? So we identify the topics and skill that should be included in the CX, okay? And then we map them to courses. So we did not start with the courses and then we invented the topics and the skill. No, okay? We believe this approach is the right approach, and it's also very practical, okay? So we sat with our industry partners, okay? And we had 3 focus group meetings. And we ask them 2 questions, okay? We ask them that, okay, tell us, what is the current status of the market? I mean the Saudi market. And what are the practical skills that are needed in the market, okay? And we started, with their help, we compiled a list of topics and skills that are needed in the Saudi market, okay? We took this list, okay? And then we cross-checked the list with the existing technical knowledge, body of knowledge, اللي هي المعرفة الموجودة. إيش المعرفة الموجودة الحالية العلمية عن الكلاود، وعملنا مقارنة. And then we finalize the list, okay? And after we finalize the list, we start mapping the topics and the skill into 4 courses, because you know a concentration has to have 4 courses. We did also survey our alumni, الطلاب الخريجين, and we asked them about the cloud. And they thought that the cloud, okay, basically it came in the 4th place. So basically the cloud was the 4th career path that our computer engineering student, or in fact any student in the computing discipline is going to pursue. And we think this rank is going to change in the future, and the cloud will move up. Maybe it will become 2nd or even 1st one, okay? Right now, the 1st and the 2nd will be like software development, cybersecurity, and so on and so forth. Okay. So this is our methodology. هذه هي المنهجية اللي اتبعناها في تصميم الكونسنتريشن. أتمنى أنها تكون واضحة. ضروري جدا المستوى هذا من الشفافية معاكم يا شباب، على أساس أنكم نعطيكم نوع من الاطمئنان إنه إحنا يعني عملناها بطريقة يعني منهجية علمية. Okay, so who are our industry partner? We are very proud of them, and we have broadly developed the concentration in partnership with 3 industry partners: Lucidia, Dr. Zuhair Khayyat, the Chief Technology Officer and a KFUPM graduate, and Mr. Muhammad Al-Harigi from General Manager of Cloud Services in a company called Site in Riyadh. It's a big company that also backed up by the اللي هو صندوق الاستثمارات. And our neighbor in Aramco, the cloud team at Aramco. طيب, very quickly, I will go through the detail of the concentration, but because we're going to discuss this thing more in the Q&A, because I'm sure you will have a lot of questions. So the program objective is, these are like the high level goals that we would like to achieve. To equip students with the knowledge, skills to be able to design, implement, integrate. So these are the 3 skill sets that we are going to emphasize throughout the program: to design, to implement, and integrate internet scale cloud application. Because remember, when we develop on the cloud, we are not writing application that for single user. In ICS 104, ICS 108, throughout your undergraduate studies, you are developing for a single user, an application that will run on your laptop, okay? The cloud is totally different. The cloud is a different type of platform. Once your application is on the cloud, it means that it can be used by anybody on the internet. Okay, so you are talking about the number of users, trillions. Okay, let me give you an example. You all use Gmail. Believe it or not, Gmail is hosted in a 4-story building. تمام؟ لو تيجي تشوف الانفراستراكشر اللي انت تحتاجها والسوفت وير اللي تحتاجه عشان تشغل الجيميل، هتكتشف انه تحتاج عماره 4 يعني ادوار على اساس انها فقط تشغل الجيميل. Okay, so in your undergraduate study we say that the program run on the CPU. On the cloud, no, we say that the program runs on the building. You need a huge infrastructure to run your program. Okay, طيب, which means what? Developing this kind of program is different. Okay, the practices, the methodology, the way you write the code for this program is totally different. Okay, and this is why we thought this concentration is very important. Okay, the second objective is to prepare students to be able to assess, plan, and build cloud infrastructure. This is basically related to helping companies to move to the cloud, starting your own cloud company, building your own cloud infrastructure. These are the learning outcome. Students should be able to do these things by the end of the program. Describe and compare different cloud architecture and service models. Explain enabling principles and technologies of cloud computing. Design cloud solution and integrate cloud-based services. Apply software development lifecycle model in implementing cloud solution. Utilize emerging cloud computing services and technologies. It will become clear when we talk about the courses. Okay, now what's the relationship to Vision 2030? Okay, cloud computing is the enabling infrastructure for the Vision 2030 transformation goal. Okay, so the transformation that is happening right now inside the kingdom, at the core of this transformation is cloud computing. Okay, if you are talking about smart cities, you cannot have a smart city without a cloud. If you are talking about artificial intelligence, Internet of Things, you cannot do these things without the cloud, because the Internet of Things, they will sense, they will bring the data, and then you need the intelligence. So they will meet on the cloud. Okay, all this AI, Internet of Things, okay, all these new technologies, they will meet on the cloud, and the magic will happen on the cloud. Okay, so you really need this infrastructure. So technologies based on AI and IoT require specialized infrastructure that exists only on the cloud. Saudi's new giga projects such as Neom, Red Sea, Qiddiya adopt cloud computing. So they decided to adopt cloud computing from day one. Okay. In December 2021, Google announced its new regional data center in Saudi Arabia in partnership with Aramco. So what can we tell from this thing? Clearly, there is a need for cloud talents in the local market. Okay. نحتاج شباب سعوديين عندهم مهارات الكلاود من أجل شغل هذه الفرص الوظيفية باختصار شديد. Okay. So there is a market for this concentration. Now, who are the one who can register or enroll in this concentration? Right now, the concentration is only open for COE, ICS, and software engineering students. And there is only one prerequisite, which is computer networks, okay, which is COE 344 or ICS 343. Okay, this is the only prerequisite. You need this prerequisite. There are 4 courses in the concentration. COE 452, which is the entry course, the introductory course into the concentration. You take it in the first semester. It's called Principles of Cloud-Based System. It's a new course. It's a brand new course from zero, from scratch. The goal here is to give you the knowledge framework that you need to understand the cloud. إنه نعطيك البناء المعرفي الضروري على أساس تفهم الكلاود. Okay, so you will leave this course with a strong conceptual foundation in cloud computing. So you'll understand the enabling technologies for cloud-based system. And also the practical part here is to develop, design, and architect system in the cloud. Now, I would like to emphasize the word architect. You're not going to, you will do some programming, but the goal here is really to architect the application. Because now, when you look at the cloud, let's take, for example, Amazon Web Services, they have catalogs of components, okay? Catalog of components. Now, how can you use these components to architect? You build an application. If you are familiar with Lego, okay, where you have different components, you assemble them together to build the final toy or game, okay, we will be doing this thing in this course, okay, how to use this 3D component in the cloud to architect an application very quickly. Now, this is very important in many aspects, okay. If you are an entrepreneur and you have an interesting idea and you would like to prototype it, test it very quickly, you will have to use the component that are already existing in the cloud. Okay, so this is a skill that we are going to emphasize in this course. Okay, and also if you are someone who basically you don't have the time and resources to build everything from scratch, you will have to rely on the existing component in the cloud. So this is an essential skill that you are going to learn in this first course. Okay, the second course that you will take in the first semester is also called distributed computing. It's also a new course. Now this course is about what lies at the heart of cloud computing، اللي هو ايش الجانب ايش الثيوري حق الكلاود، ايش هي النظريات، ايش هي هذه، which is basically distributed computing. Okay, so you will be able in this course you will understand the technical problems that are inherent in the cloud. Okay, why the cloud is designed the way it is, why it is behaving the way it is. Okay, what is the science behind the cloud? It will be covered in this course. Okay, now in this course the practical skill set that you will gain is you will design and develop internet scale distributed application based on the current practices in the industry. So we're going to use some technologies like, for example, MapReduce, which is used in Google to build and also you can say architect an application. Okay, and also we're going to use an interesting programming language that is called Go, that was invented by Google, and it is used by Google to build their own services, to build services here, to build service. So really this course is more about what happens in the background. It's not about the application. Okay, because you have the application, but what lies below the application, these are all services. So how do we write these services? Okay, this course is all about. Let me give you an example. When you submit a search request to Google, okay, this search request will go to the data center, Google's data center, okay, and it needs to access some files in the infrastructure. So if you are familiar with the concept of file system in the operating system, you need to develop a file system for the data center. Okay, so we will talk about these things. How do we develop how do you transform data center into an operating system? These are called services that are needed by the application. So these are the things that we will talk about in this course. Okay, so after you finish these two courses in the first semester, we move to the next semester with two new other courses. The first one is COE 453 Cloud and Edge Computing. This is an existing course. I am teaching the course this semester. Okay, this course is all about the web, because the web now is an important and a major platform that is used for hosting application. So you will understand the principle and architecture of modern web application. And the goal here is to design and develop a cloud native web application that takes advantage of the cloud. Okay, as the number of users increase, the application will also increase its capacity to accommodate all the users. Okay, now we do cover things like HTML, CSS, JavaScript here, but we emphasize frameworks, we emphasize REST API, we emphasize the professional practices that are existing in the market. Now, the last course in the second semester, the second course is from software engineering. It's about cloud application engineering. Okay, it's a new course. Here, basically, it's all about the software engineering practices for the cloud. Okay, because in your undergraduate courses, the one that you take before the cloud, you talk about software engineering practices for writing software, for the platform, for the desktop, for how to run software projects within a company, and so on and so forth. So we will take these practices and we look into them and we will upgrade them to become relevant to the cloud, in addition to the other new practices that are specific to the cloud. Okay. Also, you will build and design and manage. You will learn how to manage large-scale cloud native applications. So you can see, large is the key word throughout the courses. It's all about writing big programs. Okay, you are all familiar with the notion of big data. You know what is big data, but nobody is talking about big programs. Now, what do we mean by big programs? A big program is a program that can accommodate millions of users at the same time. How do you write program for such a requirement? This is what you will learn in this concentration. طيب. Okay, an important question about طيب الكلام هذا كله حلو ممتاز, but what is the current status of the market? إذا تخرجنا هنلاقي وظائف ولا لا؟ Okay, let us look into LinkedIn. Okay, let's look into LinkedIn because it's an open platform. Everyone can go there and check the current status. These are some job posts from LinkedIn, random. I just picked them randomly. Okay, for example, Google, they have their own office now in Riyadh, and they are hiring a Google Cloud engineer. Okay, and look at the requirements that are looking, basically the skills and knowledge that they are looking for. Experience in architecting. Okay, architecting. We talked about architecting in our courses. Developing. We will do development in our courses. Scalable. Okay, you will be familiar with scalable, and you will do scalable application. Distributed. Okay, we have a full dedicated course about distributed system. Experience with software lifecycle. We have the software engineering course that will introduce the student into cloud software lifecycles. Build tools, databases, platform as a service. So all these keywords that have a red line below them, these are things that you will expose to, you will learn in the concentration. Okay, there is another job post from Neums. They are looking for a senior cloud engineer. Okay, and look at the keywords in the skill that they are looking for. Containerization, orchestration. This is something we'll talk about in our concentration. Kubernetes, Docker, we'll talk about. Okay, continuous integration, continuous delivery, cloud native architecture. So all these things you will become familiar with this concept, and also you will be able to execute and deliver these things in the concentration. Also, Amazon, they have this interesting job post. They are looking for a solution architect, how to architect an application. So architecting, cloud native architecture, infrastructure, internet scale, DevOps, serverless. All these keywords can be mapped very easily to our 4 courses. Architecting, this will be mapped into the first course. Cloud native architecture, it will be mapped into the the 3rd course, as well as the 4th course. DevOps will be mapped into the 4th course. Internet scale web, the 3rd course. Database, the 3rd course. Migrating, transforming, this is it can be mapped because it's a collective skill that is covered throughout the concentration. Okay, Kareem is looking for a staff software engineer, but when you look at the detail of the job description, this is what? This is a cloud engineer. Look at the skills that they are looking for. Someone who is familiar with distributed transactional system. Okay, we have a full course on distributed system. Cassandra, Kafka, Terraform, AWS, these are all tools that we plan to cover in our concentration. Container orchestration, design, cloud, compute, observability, logging. These are all observability, logging. We'll talk about it in the distributed computing course, also in the software engineering course. Containerization, continuous integration, deployment, delivery pipelines. These are all things that we're going to cover in the concentration. Now, this is another job post from Tabadul. Okay, they are looking for a full stack developer. Okay, when you look for a full stack developer, this is something also we emphasize in our 3rd course on cloud and edge computing, where we cover development for the web. So just by finishing that course, COE 453, you will be ready to take this job. Okay. Okay, so these are other job posts. Look at the title here: senior manager, sales manager, lead architect, infrastructure project manager, React developer, because we do cover frameworks in our COE 453, back-end software engineer. It seems that this also it applies to me, so maybe I need to apply here. Front-end developer, Node.js back-end developer, senior back-end engineer. So we believe that our concentration is going to prepare you for many career paths in the market. Okay, in addition to the other classical career path. If you are a computer engineer, you can work in embedded system. If you are a software engineer, you can do pure software development, and so on and so forth. So these are just like a quick list of the career path available in the cloud computing. Cloud engineer, you design, develop cloud application, deployment, maintenance, monitoring of cloud application. Cloud software application engineer, design and develop cloud services and application. Cloud architect, design and deploy cloud solution, plan migration to the cloud. Cloud administrator, maintain cloud-based system. Okay, software engineer, full stack developer, infrastructure engineer, solution architect, etc. Now, some of these job titles, most of them, they exist. Some of them, okay, they exist, but in a different form. Okay, but again, we are just starting the cloud market here in Saudi Arabia. Okay, and with time, these job titles will become basically common, and you will find them everywhere, and you will hear them. Now, if you are interested in registering for the cloud, you can use this form. Okay, I'm going to share the link with you. What you need to do at this stage, even if you have been accepted into one of the existing concentration program, okay, you can register and you wait for us until we finalize our rest, and then inshallah we'll try our best to make the transition from your whatever concentration that you have selected into cloud computing concentration. And thank you. That's all what I have for you. And we have about like half an